Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for joining and sparing your valuable time for satsang. And I wanted to seek your good wishes and your blessings so that we can share a few things about how Bhakti Yoga is stressed so much in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we've seen that in the first, second, third, fourth cantos. So there's fifth and sixth. We didn't, well, we just finished sixth, but we didn't look at the glories of Bhakti Yoga in the fifth chapter. So let's have a look at the fifth and sixth chapters. What does the Bhagavatam say about Bhakti Yoga in these two chapters? So the theme of, especially chapter 6, was that can an insignificant jiva ever satisfy the Supreme Lord who has the six opulences in full? Right? So, and the example is, for example, of Ajameo, because he was actually not just ordinary jiva, he was a very fallen jiva, but yet somehow or other he managed to become liberated, please the Supreme Lord, satisfy the Lord. So the Bhagavatam declares that it is absolutely possible. In fact, the Bhagavatam clarifies that satisfying the Supreme Lord in all of one's endeavors is the external function of the jiva. But how can a jiva accomplish this? One may ask. Sorry, that's not external, it's eternal function. Eternal function. How can a jiva accomplish this? That's where the king of spiritual pursuits, the path of bhakti, excels all other processes, since it enables everyone, regardless of material limitations, to satisfy the Supreme Lord through offerings of love. So this is the glory of bhakti. No one is denied. Prahlad states that even Gajendra, not Jayendra, Gajendra, an elephant, satisfied the Supreme Lord by his devotion. So nobody's excluded. This is the glory of bhakti. This is the glory of the Supreme Lord. He gives that access to everyone. The following is a compilation of the glories of bhakti, devotional service, from the fifth and sixth cantos. So there's different subheadings. Bhakti awards liberation. What does liberation mean? To escape from or get out of this samsara, birth and death. One can attain liberation from material bondage. So the bondage is birth and death. Only by rendering service to highly advanced spiritual personalities. So this is fifth canto, fifth chapter. Second verse. Bhakti awakens pure love for the Lord, which continues under all circumstances. So once the love of God is awoken, even one goes through tribulations or happiness, success, doesn't matter. It continues under all circumstances. Because Ajameo chanted the Lord's holy name in a helpless condition, without offense, he was freed from all sinful reactions and became eligible for liberation. So this is a really very important point. Simply by chanting the holy names, and he chanted it innocently, without offense, that freed him from all his sinful reactions. And he became qualified to become liberated. That's just chanting the holy names a few times of Narayan. If one understands Bhagavad Dharma or surrenders onto the Supreme Lord, he is immediately liberated and returns back to Godhead. So that's the sixth canto, third chapter. By transcendental loving service unto the Lord, one attains liberation from material life. If one faithfully and inoffensively chants the Lord's holy names, one surely returns to the Lord's abode. So that was all about liberation, how one, simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord, simply by doing a little bit of bhakti, can become legible to become liberated from this material bondage. Yes, Naniman.
That's just a question on the liberation, Prabhuji. When somebody is eligible for liberation, it means he's sort of away from the sort of severs the ties with the material world,
Yeah.
and then it's one of the qualifications to reach to the supreme. Is it?
Yes, that's right. So you are free from the clutches of this world, Maya,
Yeah.
and the three modes of material nature, and you become qualified to attain the supreme, right?
Yes.
And we know the supreme is in three aspects.
Yes.
So we got the Brahman, Paramatma.
Brahman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. So any of those three are available for one who does bhakti. So, but if one does real bhakti, then we would not worry about Bhagwan or Paramatma and go to Bhagwan. Does that
Thank you,
make
Prabhuji.
sense? Yeah.
Yes, yes, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Any questions? Any comments? Okay. Bhakti removes miseries and fear. So we saw gives freedom from material bondage. Now we're going to see how bhakti removes this material miseries and fears. The Lord's lotus feet are the actual shelter of fearlessness. So fear is a big part in this world. Nowadays, everybody is running scared of this corona, for example. It's natural. In this world, there's always going to be fear. But when we're attached to the Supreme Lord, that fear disappears. He's the shelter of fearlessness. By surrendering completely onto the lotus feet of the Lord, even once, one is freed from all sinful reactions and does not see Yamaraj or his order carriers, even in dreams. The Lord's lotus feet are the only means for subduing all tribulations of this world. Let's have a look. Oops. What happened? Devotees engaged in the devotional service of the Lord never fear any condition of life. And we saw that. Anybody can remember who was that prominent in? No fear whatsoever.
Is it Dhruv Maharaj?
That's definitely there.
Prahlad Maharaj?
Prahlad Maharaj?
Prahlad, definitely. But Prahlad is to come, and Dhruv was in the third canto. Who was in the sixth canto? Completely fierce. He was under attack.
Vritrasur.
Vrittasura. That's right, Madhusudan.
Oh, yes.
Vrittasura. So that 17th chapter is about him. And he was completely free. In fact, he was encouraging Indra, come, you can do it. You can defeat me. Because Indra was feeling a little bit tentative because he saw Vrittasura's power. But Vrittasura said, no, come on, you can do it. You can kill me. That shows no fear. Extraordinary. Because he was engaged in bhakti. No fear. If one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune, he is immediately absorbed from having to enter hellish life, even though he is sinful. So hellish life, of course, is something to fear. But just chanting the name of Hari once can take us away from that fear.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Nanivan.
yeah, that even chanting the holy name once, is it true even now, in this Kali Yuga?
Yeah, especially in Kali Yuga. Especially in Kali Yuga. Yeah. Of course, how we chant it is quite important. Right? If we chant it offensively, then it will not have any impact. If we chant it like Ajamil, that saved him. Right? He did it in innocence. He didn't do it with full awareness, but he did it without any offenses. So as long as there's no offenses, the holy name will have an impact.
It's sincerity.
Sincerity, definitely a good qualification. But Ajamil didn't have any sincerity, right? He was chanting to call his son, Narayan. But he was chanting without any offensive, without any expectations from the Lord, or he was just chanting out innocently to his son. But then the Lord and his carriers came and protected him. So it's quite an extraordinary.
But even if somebody chants unknowingly or whatever in whatever even if just the vibrations of the syllables in the names of the Lord
Yes,
are going to have that effect. So chanting, you will have at least guaranteed the start of your spiritual life. And you were heading towards hellish, at least you've turned around a bit, hopefully.
Yeah.
But that will be guaranteed at least. So that's your starting point, at least, I think.
Indeed, indeed.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Maji.
So if we are in the Krishna consciousness, if we are chanting in this lifetime, that means that we have been chanting before also. That's why we have picked it up where we left it in our past lives, right? So what do we need to do to get out of this material world and don't come back? Because we are carrying forward our good and bad karmas. But how come we are still in this material world? What should we do to just make this our last life in this material world?
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. Well, what's the answer, Maji? Usually have the answer.
I don't know. I am asking, right?
Okay.
I have my answer, but I want to know all of you answer. Madhusudan Prabhu can give a good example. Maybe Kamakshi can give example. Naniben can give. You can give, or even anyone. Riyansh can give an example. So just because we have been in Krishna consciousness, that's why it's revived now. How do we do to get out of this circle of coming back again? We have been chanting. We are chanting again. We might come back in this material world as human being again, or as animal. We don't know. So, what is a thing that we should do to get out? Please, you tell me.
Continue chanting. I think we have to continue chanting because this Lord has given us this jiva of this human life, so that because there has been some lack of some improvement, still something needs to be done.
Yeah.
And that's something I think from what my understanding is, we have to continue chanting, continue the devotional service, so we may move a little bit higher and higher until we come to a stage and we can attain his lotus feet, if Krishna willing. Krishna's will is most important.
Yes, thank you very much. But
yes, I would agree that if in the past we've been chanting, perhaps would have been with offenses or
yes.
not done it nicely enough in order that, but we've been given another chance, another opportunity to continue on our journey.
So yes, so that my question is, how do we get out of this circle?
Yeah, chant better, chant inoffensively.
chanting, continue devotional service, because we don't know what is still left for our past karmas. We still don't know how much is still left. And we don't, by this life, it doesn't mean that next life we are going to be in a very higher position. So we have to continue what we have already been doing so far.
Yeah, because even when we are chanting, when we are doing deity service, there is how do you call it? There is offenses, a lot of offenses. Like even for when we do deity service, it says how do we say that?
Mantra hi naam ke naam, bhakti naam.
No, that is forgiveness that we ask,
Yeah.
that we do, that we do. No, let me get the word correct. We do a lot of mistake. So there is, how can I forget this word? I'm getting old, I'm forgetting everything. Never mind. So aparada, seva aparada. Thank you for the word, seva aparada. So how do we know that we are doing it perfectly, or we are lacking something, or how do we know that?
No, but in Kali Yuga, there's no such thing as perfection. And no matter how hard you try, perfection will not come. Not in deity service. So the chanting of the holy, the thing is also
chanting in association.
Yeah, but our desire isn't to get out of this world. That's not the aim. Our desire.
Yes, I know. As devotees, our desire is not to get out of this world; is to stay here and do service to the Lord.
It's just
right?
to serve. No, not even to stay here. It's just whatever he wants.
So wherever.
Yeah, whatever he like. This first one here: engage, never fear any condition of life. That's the aim. Whether I'm hell, heaven, body of animal like a gendra or a human, our desire is to serve. Yeah, simply to serve. Simply to serve.
Okay.
That's because then you get rid of any anxiety. Oh, I have to liberate. This is my final life. I've got to do it. No. Forget all that. Just serve. Just serve. Just serve.
Okay.
And when you serve in a peaceful way, automatically everything will, Lord will just make everything happen automatically. If he wants. And if he doesn't want, that's his choice,
Yeah, that's what we ask. You do whatever you want. I don't want this free will. I don't want this independence. You use me as you want. So let's see what happens. Thank you for the nice answer. Thank you, everyone. And Prabhuji, you just talk about Gajendra again. Please keep a slot for me for Gajendra Moksha.
Yes, and also when we do Bish Asthami, I think that day you can speak about Bhishma again.
And do the stuti.
Yes.
And do the stuti. I think that I'll tell you when it is, so you can do that. That'd be nice.
Okay, thank you. Is it now? That is November, right?
Next week. No, it's not. It's in the next few days. Yeah, I'll tell you in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you. So if we have to push the forgiveness class, I can.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's Saturday you can do. Yeah, you can do that on Saturday. That's good.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, thank you.
It's on Friday.
It's on Friday, Maaji. Friday.
Coming Friday.
Yeah, coming Friday.
Okay, so you want me to do the whole class?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
It's always good to hear on those particular days. So it's good.
Okay, thank you.
Bhakti burns sinful reactions. By discharging devotional service to the Lord, the weeds of sinful reactions are put out. Put out. So how does that happen? So there is a subheading here. The chanting of the whole Lord's holy names removes sinful reactions. Even when one is chanted in a stumbling way and failing from hunger. I've not done very well this one. It's been a bit of a quick one. Even if one is hungry or stumbles, if one is chanting, then you will remove sinful reactions. Even when chanted indirectly to indicate something else, like Narayan, Ajamil chanted for his son, chanted jokingly for musical entertainment or even neglectfully. So it does remove sinful, but if we do it with aparad, so we do sins and chant to get rid of the sins, that's aparad. That won't work. But when it's done innocently, then it will have impact. And it can destroy all kinds of sins, heavy and light. So mahapaps as well as just ordinary paps. When chanted knowingly or unknowingly, not unknowingly, unknowingly. So I haven't done well with this one.
Definitely retention.
Even with improper pronunciation. So many people can't chant Krishna's name, and we know the pastime. We know the pastime of Valmiki. He couldn't chant the name of Ram, but Narad Muni taught him how to chant the name of Mara, 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 Ram, 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 Ram. Very intelligent Narad Muni. And of the most sinful persons, dog eaters, chandalas, or one who's killed a brahmana, cow, mother, father, or spiritual master, it can remove anybody's sinful reactions. So this is in the 6th canto. All of these are in the 6th canto in relation to Ajamil's pastimes. So then, bhakti removes material contamination. Those who take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet are fully satiated, satisfied, and cannot possibly become attached to family members. So what is a material contamination? Attachment to this world, including family. Even untouchable is immediately relieved of bondage to material existence by uttering the Lord's holy name, even once. Anyone who chants the Lord's holy name, even jokingly or by chance, is immediately purified and freed from all sins. Chanting of the Lord's name purifies one's heart. Merely by hearing the Lord's name once, even sinners are free from all material contamination. Bhakti is auspicious. One attached to the nectarian honey of the Lord's lotus feet never gives up his exalted position, even though he may sometimes be checked by impediments. So there's quite a few examples of that. In the 5th canto, I don't know if anybody remembers any of them. In the 5th canto, there were a few devotees with impediments, and they overcame them still. Anybody remember 5th canto? Who were the devotees who faced impediments?
Rishabdev?
Close, keep going. Who was his son?
Bharat Maharaj.
Yes, well done. That's right. He had an impediment, right? What was his impediment?
That deer.
Deer.
Yeah.
That deer. After that deer, Jarabharat. Again human form.
Yeah, good. So, but he was attached to the Lord's lotus feet. So he never gave up his exalted position. The Lord protected his position, allowed him to remember as a deer, then Jadbharat. And then there was the example of Prithu Maharaj, right? Prithu Maharaj, he wanted to just completely surrender to the Supreme Lord, didn't he? But then Lord Brahma came and ordered him, no, you have to engage in the duties of what your father has asked you to do, what Manu has asked you to do. So he did, and he came through. He came through. That was an impediment to engage in worldly affairs. But because he was a devotee of the Lord, he came through. So impediments will be there for devotees, but if we stick to the lotus feet of the Lord, we'll be safe and protected. By taking shelter of the dust from the lotus feet of the Lord, one can transcend the influence of the 6 material whips, hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age, and death, and conquer the senses. All living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga. For by accepting devotional service, they think of each other's welfare. So this is quite nice. This is really nice. Thinking of others. That's really, really nice. When we're practicing bhakti yoga and we're selfish, not wanting to share what we have, then that's not such a good position to be in. If we share what we have, when you have a good thing, you want to share it with others. This bhakti yoga is so amazing that the more you share, the more you get. The exalted qualities of the demigods. So they have exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge, renunciation. They become manifest in the body of one with unalloyed devotion towards the Lord. Sinful Ajamil was immediately rescued from the Yamadutas simply by a glimpse of the chanting of the holy names of Narayan. Those who chant the holy names do not come under Yamraj's jurisdiction for punishment. Even if they sometimes commit sinful activities, they are protected. Congregation chanting is the most auspicious activity in the entire universe. The Yamadutas are fearful of the Lord's devotees and don't dare even look at them. Persons engaged in devotional service to Lord Vasudev, have naturally perfect knowledge and detachment, and they do not take shelter elsewhere. So the exclusive shelter of the devotee is the Lord Vasudev, Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, nobody else. There's no backup plan or second plan. Oh, if Vishnu doesn't protect us, Shiva will protect us, or Brahma will protect us. No, there's only one plan. So then the next subheading.
Sorry, Prabhuji, can you explain that again, please?
So we take exclusive shelter of Krishna. So there isn't another personality that we are thinking, if Krishna doesn't protect us, I will go to Lord Shiva. He will protect me.
Yeah.
Right? Exclusive to Krishna.
Yeah.
There's no backup plan that we don't have an ace in our back pocket.
Okay.
We just take exclusive. And whether we succeed or we fail, it doesn't matter. It's up to him. And that was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prayer. The last one he left was the Shikshastakam. Aslistyava patam ratam. Vinastu mama darshanam marma atam karutu vaita. How's it go? I've forgotten the last bit now. But basically he was saying, whether you embrace me with your arms or you slap me, I'm yours no matter what. So we take shelter of the Lord, nobody else.
So basically, you just worship Krishna, you respect demigods. It's not like you worship everyone, thinking, hoping that one of them will help you in the end.
Krishna. Yes, go ahead, Mataji. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just finish all. I'm just saying you have full faith in Krishna only.
Yes, yeah. But what do those who are, there are quite a lot of devotees of Shiva. What do they think about this? Do they know these facts?
I think most of them worship Lord Shiva to gain some favor from him, either some material gains or husband or wife or something like that. And Lord Shiva just gives, no problem. But he doesn't see whether that is good for the recipient or not. He will just give. There are many Shiv Bhaktas who worship him as a devotee, as a Vaishnav. And they're worshipping him in the right mood, in the right way.
Okay.
because that's what he is, a great Vaishnava. So for them, at the end of their life, Shiva will come and chant the name of Ram into their ear, especially if they're in Varanasi.
So if we have to pray to Lord Shiva, we just ask him to give us bhakti.
Mm.
But he can't give bhakti. He can't give bhakti. He doesn't have the right to give bhakti.
No,
No,
because he is a great Vaishnava, right?
I know, but even then, that is only with Krishna and Radha. They can give bhakti.
So what can he give? Krishna Prem?
He can take you towards, no, not even Krishna Prem. He can take you towards the Lord. But then always it is dependent on the mercy of the Lord to whether he gives a bhakti. Yeah, yeah. Bhakti is exclusively, see, the Lord, the Lord will see where this devotee will misuse my the benediction of bhakti, because bhakti will conquer the Supreme Lord. So he won't give it so easily. It's only in his possession to give. The Guru can take us to Krishna, but ultimately still, the bhakti can only be afforded with one who has it, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Krishna it belongs to Krishna. It'll control Krishna. So Krishna will think, if I give it to this devotee, will he misuse it? Because I will become under his control.
Oh, that's why he won't give.
He won't give. He won't give. Unless Krishna is very kind and merciful.
Okay.
So that's why sincerity is very important, and you know, the innocence. We don't want anything from the Lord. Nothing.
So in my Bhagavad Gita class, I have one Mataji, and she told me that she has been praying to Lord Ganesh all the time. Now she finds it very hard to give up the praying of. So I told her not to give up.
Yes.
You keep, because I cannot tell her just stop. She says, I try, but I cannot stop. But she still says that she's chanting.
Good.
And but then I said, no, just ask Lord Ganesha to take you to Krishna. So I was explaining to her the Brahma Samhita, verse 50. Yat pada pallave yugam vinida kumbe dvandve pranama samaya saganadi.
Yes, very good.
So I was explaining. Then she realized, yes. And she told me, but though I cannot, because she says, as soon as we get in the house, they have Ganesha in front. She bowed down, and then she goes to her altar. It's the same. Everywhere's Ganesha in her house. So now slowly, she's replacing. Then I told her story, the story of a merchant who was coming in the sea, and there was storm, and he started praying. He started praying to Durga, and nothing happened. He started praying. Durga wanted to go to help. Then she started praying to Lord Shiva. So Durga said, okay, you're calling Shiva, let Shiva go, I will not go. Then she started praying to Hanuman. Hanuman said, okay. So like this, nobody went to save him. So I say, if you pray only one and you believe sincerely in one, then you are sure to get help. Right?
Like that one. Yeah. Nice one. Nice one. That's a good, you did very well, Maji. Yes. Very good.
I don't know, Prabhuji. I'm just trying. I'm learning from you, from all the devotees online here.
Nice. Good. It's good. It's good.
Thank you.
I think, to divert somebody from their worship is not a good thing. To add to their worship is good.
Yeah.
Is good. Because, Krishna says in the Gita, I give them the faith by which they will get more faith in that devata. So who are we to take that faith away? But then just redirect it, like Ganpati, if they can understand that, yes, he's a real personality, he's a great personality, but he's also a devotee of the Lord. He's not the supreme. And he's also praying. So get his blessings to meet his boss.
Yeah, because in the verse he said he put his humility under the feet of the Lord so that he get his strength to help remove the obstacle on the path of devotees. So
very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. And this is what they do. This is what the devotees do. They remove the obstacles. Shiva removes the obstacle. Ganesh, Guru Maharaj, he removes the obstacle. So we go to Krishna. But then whether we get pure, even you can be with Krishna, but not get pure bhakti, right? Because pure bhakti, we come under the control.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Nanibin?
Yeah. This applies, devotional service to Krishna, it applies to all his Divya avatars, isn't it?
All the avatars.
All the like Rama and Nasi Bhagwan and includes everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. But only Krishna is conquered.
Okay.
Only Krishna is conquered. Ramachandra, that is the distinguishing factor between Krishna and everybody else, that Krishna puts himself completely under the control of his pure bhakta. And that won't happen in any, Vishnu will never submit to his devotee. Right? You never will see Mother Yashoda running after the four-handed Vishnu. On a Shingadev with a stick, or Ramachandra with a stick. Can't happen, right? That's why one of the distinguishing factors is the super excellent pastimes of Krishna, which no avatar can match, where he places himself under the control of bhakti. Radharani, she's the source of bhakti. And she is the one, if there's any bhakti, it's an expansion of her. So Mother Yashoda is an expansion of Radharani's Ladini, like, no, not Ladini, but the bhakti aspect.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting. I mean, and that's why the gopis, they never wanted anything from Krishna. They just, Krishna would say, what can I do? What can I give you? And they would say, nothing. We just want to serve you. We just want to love you. And Krishna felt so bad because they just had given everything to him. He couldn't repay their love. And he became conquered by them. In fact, he became so conquered, he had to leave. He had to leave. Because there was no way he could.
Was too much.
The debt was too much. He couldn't repay it. He said, I'm going to go. Can't take this anymore. So they conquered him completely with their love. Extraordinary. Didn't want anything in return. That's a very, very high level of consciousness, Krishna consciousness.
So even when he was in Dwarka with his queens, he wanted to test the queens and said that he is having headache. Who can give the dust of the lotus feet so that he can put on his head so that he can get better? But nobody would give. They were so scared of going to hell. And then Narad Muni went to see the gopis, and the gopis give a lot. And Narad Muni said, you're not scared to go to hell? They say, no, for Krishna, we can go to hell lifetime of the lifetime.
Good.
So they gave that dust from their feet.
Yeah.
But that was just a test. Krishna, he was never sick, but he just wanted to test the queens.
Yeah. So you may be very close to Krishna, like the queens, but yet the level of bhakti in bridge, which the gopis have, that is different. That is just a different level of bhakti. And the gurus that in our sampradaya, they're the manjaris, who in many ways are also considered a little higher than the gopis. Because sometimes the gopis may want to be with Krishna, but the manjaris have no such desire. They simply want to serve Radha. Their Ishtadev is Radharani. As long as she's happy, that's all that matters to them. That's a really, really high position. And they get pure, 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 pure bhakti. Krishna becomes under their control. He becomes a little puppet even under their under their control. He's a puppet under Radha's, but he's also a puppet under the Manjaris. Anyway, superiority of bhakti. A person fixed in devotional service of the Lord swims in the ocean of nectar. For him, what use is heaven, swaga, which is like water in a small ditch. This is the superiority of bhakti. By always engaging in bhakti, devotees enjoy spiritual bliss. They don't desire liberation, even if the Lord offers it. This is what the Lord was saying to the gopis. What can I give you? I can give you all the different mystic powers, and you can have anything you want. No, don't want anything. There are many processes to understand the absolute truth, but the absolute truth is fully revealed only to one who has attained the mercy of the great devotee. So that's the absolute truth. That's not bhakti necessarily. Not pure, unalloyed bhakti. Liberation is considered insignificant for those whose minds are attached to the loving service of the Lord. Even a sinful person engaged in the service of the Lord or his devotees is completely purified. Such is not possible by any other means of atonement. So that atonement, what bhakti does, it changes the consciousness. Other methods of atonement doesn't change the consciousness. Why does bhakti change the consciousness? Because it's very powerful. It changes the consciousness in its root, in its core. It changes the consciousness, which is very, very vital. Very vital. Chanting of the Lord's names awakens devotional service. Unlike ritualistic atonement, which may only free one from simple reactions. So again, these ritualistic, so if you commit a sin, you pay some money, you do some donation, and you try to get rid of the sin. But the tendency to commit sin hasn't gone. What bhakti does is addresses the tendency to commit sin in the first place, because it brings you closer to the Lord, and there's a change in consciousness. And that change in consciousness means we won't be performing the sinful acts. That's the power of bhakti, the superiority of bhakti. Pious activities such as austerity, charity, vows, and other methods cannot approach the materialistic desires in one's heart. This is the problem. But bhakti frees one from all such contamination. Chanting of the holy names is the best process of atonement for all kinds of sinful activities, for which the ritualistic ceremonies of atonement are insufficient. Chanting of the holy names of the Lord frees one from material bondage. By following other methods such as pious atonement, speculative knowledge, and meditation in mystic yoga, one takes again to fruitive activities. So, but devotional service, beginning with the chanting of the holy names of the Lord, is the ultimate religious principle for the living entities in human society. Okay, I think we are nearly at the end. The affectionate Lord, so bhakti attracts the Supreme Lord. This is the key. This is the beauty of bhakti. The affectionate Lord manifests himself to his devotees, being attracted by their devotion. This is what we want to do. We want to attract the Lord by our devotion. Devotional service makes the Lord obliged. See, he becomes a servant to fulfill the desires of his devotees out of love. This is absolutely key. If one chants the Lord's holy name without offense at the time of death, the Vishnu Duttas immediately arrive irrespective of one's sinful background, to protect him from the Yamadutas. The Lord is satisfied with bhakti. So this is really, really important, especially this one here. Great people perform or aspire for bhakti. By worshipping the Lord, King Nabi was elevated to Vaikuntha. By prowess of bhakti, the sons of Priyavrat could realize the Lord. Self-realized persons take shelter of the Lord to get out of samsara. The seven great sages, neglect all other processes, including merging into the Supreme, having obtained bhakti to the Lord. Demigods aspire to achieve human birth in Bharatvarsh to execute devotional service. So we are really fortunate. We have this great opportunity. And who knows, maybe some of you may be demigods, and you've prayed to come to Bharatvarsh in order to execute bhakti. The demigods say that one attains Vaikuntha by surrendering unto the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj begged the Lord for engagement in the service of his servants, as he thought that liberation and material opulence are not the Lord's real mercy. Das nu das. The 12 Mahajans know the confidential Bhagavad Dharma. Yamraj glorifies the chanting of the holy names of the Lord to his servants. Vritsasura says he does not desire to be the master of power of mystic yoga, nor does he want liberation if he has to give up the Lord's lotus feet. And if we don't do bhakti, we're going to be finished. Unless one worships the lotus feet of the Lord, lotus feet of great devotees, one will be conquered by Maya. Unless one has love for Lord Vasudev, one is not delivered from samsara. So this goes a little bit further than just chanting the holy name. This is, association is important. Unless one engages all his senses in the Lord's services, one cannot get out of samsara. Lakshmi does not favor persons unless they are engaged in the Lord's service. And sinful persons who do not even once chant the holy name or remember the Lord's lotus feet or bow down even once before the Lord are caught by the Yamadutas at the time of death. So that's it. That's the aspects described in the Bhagavatam 5th and 6th canto about Bhakti Yoga. Very powerful. So we're in the right direction, in the right place. Just continue as we're going. Any comments or any questions?
Lot to learn and lot to think, isn't it? Bhakti all the time.
Yeah.
Only Krishna.
Exclusively Krishna.
Exclusive, yes.
Yeah. And nothing in return. That is a tough one, of course, because in this world we're always looking for something in return. But that's a mindset change. That's what bhakti does, because when you serve Krishna, when you serve the Lord, and you see the pleasure of the service, then whether there's any reward for it or not, it doesn't matter. The service in itself is good enough.
I think once you start doing devotional service, I think the desires for material things, they eventually go down.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, for sure.
Haribol.
Hare
I'm
Krishna.
going to give a little example as far as I understand. I have heard it one of the lectures. It's from going from A to B. If the motorway is the best way to get to B, then why take the side roads and make the journey longer? So to get to Krishna, the bhakti is the easiest way to get to there. So why go through demigods and do other unnecessary time wasting. So Bhagavad Gita clearly says, Krishna says, come to me with the bhakti.
Excellent.
I understand.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Very nice example. Very nice example. And just the process of bhakti. You see, the bhakti is the process, but it's also the end result at the same time. The chanting is just not just the method, but it's the goal as well. So
yeah, it's a combination of few things. It's a right understanding, sincerity, and instructions from Guru and Gauranga. If you follow it, you can't go wrong.
But even chanting, for example,
Mm.
it's the way is to get to Krishna. But when we get to Krishna, what are we doing? Chanting. So it's both. It's the method and it's the goal as well. Because what are the gopis doing in Krishna Lok? Chanting. Chanting his glories all the time. So it's not that we are doing the chanting in order to get to Krishna. We're doing the chanting in order to chant when we're there with Krishna to please him. It's quite extraordinary. So that's why the chanting is emphasized, because it's not that we're just doing it here, but we're going to be doing it with Krishna as well.
So you have to practice from here.
Yeah, get it right here. Good. Anybody else? Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Oh, Umadevi, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Just how to remember 24 hours, always to how to remember Krishna.
How to remember Krishna all the time. That's a good question.
How to develop
a taste.
Yes.
The best way to develop taste is associating with strong-minded devotees. So if we associate with those who are not so attached to the Lord, they will have so many other interests. They will be doing this, they will be doing that. And we will have the same sort of attitude. But if we attach ourselves to those who are constantly chanting, constantly thinking about the Lord, then that way we will develop that taste. Association is key. So if we, for example, read Srila Prabhupada's books, read the books of the Acharyas, that's direct association with great devotees. That will help us. So reading, getting knowledge, even if we don't get any knowledge, just reading the Acharyas' works is associating with them, and that will help us try to remember Krishna 24 hours, 24/7. The more if we don't have any taste for chanting, what is the cure? Chanting more. So we just have to keep practicing, keep practicing, keep practicing. If we're doing 16 rounds, it's not enough. That's just the minimum. Do more, try to do more. If we're doing 1 round, do 2. If we have a desire to remember Krishna, then we should have a desire to chant more. That's the key. Chant more. So if one is doing 16 rounds and has a desire to be with the Lord even more, chant 32 rounds. If you want to be even more with the Lord, chant 48 rounds. Like that, just keep increasing, keep increasing, creeping. As the age goes, as we grow older, the idea should be, especially if we've been engaged in bhakti, if we've been initiated for some time, the idea is to increase our chanting. I'll let you in a little secret that I'm planning. Of course, whenever we make a plan, Krishna has a good laugh, you know. Yeah, nice plan. And he laughs. But I'm thinking, look, I love to study now, and we'll do as much as we can. We'll try to learn the Bhagavatam as much as we can, and then the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then whatever other books we're able to. And then once we've developed the presentations, the next round we will do of those presentations, we won't have to study so much because the study work has already been done. We'll chant a lot more, a lot more. So instead of 5 hours reading and studying, we'll be chanting 5 hours. That's my plan. Krishna may have a different plan. So in that way, there's always from our side, there must be an endeavor, a desire to want to get to remember him. If that desire is there, an association is there, then that's it, because we've put the effort in. Then it's up to the Lord. We depend on his mercy. If he allows us, fantastic. Umadevi, did you have something else to share there?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Was that okay? Yeah, makes sense, right? Is that practical? Is that something is possible?
Yes, trying, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank you so much for asking, and thank you for joining us. It's very, very nice when you're with us.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Haribol, Nabi, Hare Krishna. Haribol, yeah, nice that we're talking about bhakti, and obviously it's about serving the Supreme Lord, and understanding. I had to do a little 5-minute sort of talk or presentation on master servant or something like that, you know, to serve how to, and I've got it on a PowerPoint press, so maybe someday I'll share it, you know, sometime.
Good.
I can't find it at the moment, you know, I could have done it, but in that I had to sort of think about, you know, master servant kind of relationship. But we know our constitutional position is to serve. We're serving every day anyway. Either we're serving our boss or country, or even including our own senses. You know, we're only serving our senses otherwise.
Yeah.
Entertaining ourselves with good sound, good music, or this or that. So we're serving our senses. That's why we call Godas, aren't we? You know, and Godas, we try to turn into Govinda, you know, turn that into serving the Supreme Lord. So we use our senses to start to serve the Supreme Lord. So sometimes we don't understand, where do we start? You know, what do you mean by serving? You know, but if a guest comes to your house, you know that you'd have to serve them, give them a glass of water if they want, you know. But in a Vaishnava proper Varnashram system, you serve the personality. If, for example, I learned that, and you learned that, and we all learned that when our Guru Maharaj came to our house, we knew we had to serve him, but to properly serve in a Varnashram system is like, you obviously give them a good asana to sit, you give them a garland. We had to prepare all these things. We to learn how to do that, actually, you know. And we learned that by actually studying and understanding and learning from some other Vaishnavas, other associates who were more advanced. You know, when Prabhupada was going around, you know, his devotees, the Americans, they were totally new. They didn't know how to serve Prabhupada. Eventually they learned, and then they say, oh, wherever Prabhupada went, there was a garland ready for him, you know. So we learned, and then say, oh, this is what Prabhupada likes, you know, so we make puris for him. Or we make but Prabhupada had to teach them first. This is how you make gulab jamun. So we learn how to serve slowly. So like I was saying, you know, don't go too much into it, but to start to serve, you have to start to learn from the best people who are serving. And the best people who know how to serve Krishna is obviously the advanced devotees like Radharani and Gopis and Manjaris and all that. You know, they know what kind of jewelry, even But there are also those who are serving only Radharani. They say, we don't want to serve Krishna, we want to serve Radharani. They know what kind of jewelry she might like and all that. But that's very intricate service, at a very high level. We just want to start serving by at least serving the holy name. So we start chanting. We use our sense to engage in hearing about Krishna, by using our voice to sort of speak about Krishna. And I'm talking about Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And that's where we start. And then to learn, I had to put this thing, every day, are you the master or are you the servant? Every day, what is your position? So by being a servant of the senses or servant of Maya or servant of this boss or that boss, we have to ask that question, and then we have to decide, I want to be a servant of Krishna or Supreme Lord. How do I start? So you'll start learning by watching, learning, and other things. So if you want to be the best butler, you have to learn it from the best butler who knows how to serve. And I like that film about Batman. His butler knew exactly what his master wanted. And the duty of the master is to provide all the facilities so that the servant can serve the master properly. So I hope that helps, but that's where our devotional service starts. So we have started on the journey and we stay. Then it's up to Krishna wherever he wants to engage us. But like I said, we want to be in the association of devotees. So lifetime, if we have to keep coming, as long as we're in the association of devotees, sitting somewhere doing kirtans, chanting his names, that will be joyful. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Let me just find